all this, and I don't know what happened last week. I'm PMSing, so
Oh my gosh, I had that
carbs in my mouth, but
yeah, it's crazy.
One good week a month. Like,
what's that?
Like the week I start my period, like after those first few days, it's like, okay, my skin clears up. I like don't have cravings, not bloated, and then after a week, so like half of that good week, I'm on my period.
Being a woman is not fair sometimes.
Yeah, I was joking with Dwight. I was like, because I had a moment where I literally was freaking out, and then I was telling him, I was like, my rational side is believing this, but my emotional side is feeling this, and I just started like yelling and then laughing and then just crying. Like I was on the ground, like just crying. And I was like, just let me cry, and he just laughs. Like he's perfect. He's like, it's very hard to. Like I just laugh at myself a lot easier with him because he just lets me talk it out like a crazy person. But it's such a flood of hormones and weird. Like it's not nothing. There's no reason. I just want to cry my eyes out. It's so weird.
That's good that he lets you do that though too, because I feel like a lot of times guys, or just people in general, but guys specifically, like try to fix. I mean,
right.
By now, like
he knows by now. He's like, she's wackadoodle right now.
But I think that sometimes like they try to keep getting you to talk or whatever, but it's kind of like, no, just I don't even know why I'm crying or whatever it is.
Or like trying to say like change your mindset. It's like, trust me, I know how to have a healthy mindset. It's just but yeah. So I feel you guys for sure. Well, we'll see. I feel like with it being November and then the holidays and all that, but a lot of people wanted this to be recorded. So I definitely want to get something out of it. The things I want to cover for sure are some of the takeaways. It's good. Caitlin and Dana are both here so they can share their takeaways from Platinum Edge. But what I really have been running, I've taken away a lot, but what I've been running with since I got back has been the power hours and like really sticking to a plan. And I basically immersed myself in Shailene Johnson's virtual academy, which I've known I wanted to actually get an assistant, but what's delayed me in that process is not knowing who to hire, what to hire them for, how to trust them, how to not waste my money. Because I went through that process a little bit of trying to find somebody on Elance, and I was like, I can't tell who's sketchy and who's real. And it was, especially since people do really hire, like Shailene literally hires somebody from the Philippines. But there's like lots of Middle Eastern and like all over the place, Native Americans, but they charge more. So long story short is the academy immerses you into figuring all that out with like the cyber. And I've actually, in that too, the cybersecurity. Like I remember when I first heard about 1Password, I just rolled my eyes because like that's a lot of work. And if you guys don't know what that is, it's basically an app. So I'll just go through mine really quick. I'm doing the virtual academy, so I'll be helping you guys hopefully learn how to delegate more as I learn it myself. That's one thing. And then the 1Password is cybersecurity. So we were at Platinum Edge, and Darren Natoni covers it, but he's got a checklist. Amanda, have you seen that checklist, the 1Password?
No, I haven't.
Okay. If you just like Google if you Google Darren Natoni and find his like website, it really is helpful.
I can send it.
Yeah. Have you done that yet, Dana? Like gone through all the?
I've gone through it, but I haven't actually done it.
It's annoying, but like I'm constantly having to so I'll kind of show you guys. So they give you a master password, and this is smart because like if you listen to Shailene Johnson's podcast, those are all the ones I started skipping. I was like, I don't want to hear about her getting hacked. Like that's really depressing.
Me too.
Yeah, it's not fun. It's not fun material. But this is actually pretty cool in that it's an app, and then eventually, I know you guys can't see, but you use your thumbprint, and then you have like a master password. And then they're really great because you can store all of your passwords in it, but you can actually have them create a cryptic one, like a weird one that you will never remember, but you're securing it in the safe place. So that's what I'm doing. A lot of my logins, not all of them, but all of my logins are things that are annoying. And they basically are saying the more annoying you are, the more annoying it is for a hacker to ever try to take your stuff. And that's what you need to be, is a big giant pain in the ass, basically.
Well, and so I went so weirdly today. I opened up my spam. So basically, he talks about how someone gets hacked every 18 seconds, which might be something little, but it could be something huge. And like for me, it's scary because I have a lot of patient information on my computer. And that's like, so, I mean, that's fine because it's mine and it's locked and it's password and everything. Same with my phone. And it's like my work email and stuff we have to keep. Like those passwords you have to change every so often. And
right. They force you to.
yeah, but it's also like, not to mention just, she talks about like this girl came on and they put up this video of this lady who's talking about how, you know, this guy hacked in and now he has pictures of like her children and like they were, you know, in the bathtub and they, you know, obviously they're not like their babies. So it's like, you know, some random ass weirdo has pictures of her kids, you know, they were creating memories and she would say, you know, whatever it was. And now, you know, it just can happen to anyone. And it's just, he talked about how, like, if you have someone's personal information, so let's say I'm your customer and you have like a document with my information, my address, my phone number, and all that kind of stuff. Like how it kind of just goes down. I mean, it just waterfalls down of like people not trusting you then because they think, I mean, even though it's not necessarily your fault that you got hacked.
Sure.
It just was kind of like eye-opening, and I went into my email tonight and I was looking at my spam just because I thought an email might have gotten lost in there. And the amount of emails that are in there that are like crazy spam, like clearly hackers, like,
give me your information now.
Yeah, give me your information so I can send you $1 million. Like, okay.
Right.
Yeah, I'm just that lucky.
Yeah. I'll get right on that. But it was just kind of crazy because I looked at it and then it, like the one said, like a couple of them were like an email from me, meaning like, which I think if you open it, you probably like opened a bunch of shit, which I didn't open it. But it said it was like, if you have a Gmail, you know how it says like from me if you send yourself.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is weird.
Yeah, I would highly advise going through that. That's something that I'm just like, all these things are annoying, but I'm definitely acting on it. Like I felt the nice thing about those live events is I'm sure like Summit is similar. You feel that urgency to act on it because you just see people benefiting from it or you see people not being exposed. So 1Password, delegating, and then the other thing, but I'll try not to cover it all because I'm sure like Caitlin and Dana will want to go over it. But I've been Periscoping every day. We had like a challenge on Periscope. And when Periscope first came out, I forget who was, it must have been Shailene or somebody talking about Periscope. And I was like, I should try this. And I didn't like study up on it at all. I just started doing them. And this girl that I follow was also doing it. She's like, does Eat, Lift, Be Happy, and Nagar Fanouni. And she was doing them. And so I was following her on there. But long story short is I was like, when I put the location on, you get all these like weird trolls. So it's good to do if you're in a public spot. So like at Angie's List, I'll put the location on, or if I'm like at a restaurant outside in the car, I'll put the location on because you get a lot more people. But if you're home, you turn the location off and you're going to get a lot less viewers, but they actually show you where you're at. So that's like the creepy, scary thing. But as long as you avoid that, you're just live streaming to people who want to join you. And really the point of Periscope and why Shailene was like, what resonated with me is she's like, it used to take like a certain strategic amount of opt-ins and emails and services for me to help a customer out with before they move forward with me. Like they'd have to spend so many dollars before they'd spend 100. Like, you know, they'd have to do so many things before they'd be a serious customer. But Periscope is getting her instant people who are investing. Like I probably spent the money that I spent quickly because I was watching her on Periscope every day. Like just that trust and that realness, and you feel like it's a real person. So that's where I'm like, this is, and it is true. You can be relatively early. Like if you look on there, there's not a lot of people. There's not a lot of people doing it. There's people doing it, especially after Platinum Edge, but like, I don't know. It's definitely a place to have good exposure. So I'd recommend experimenting with it and playing with it. So those are some big takeaways. And then the Platinum, Amanda, are you in Platinum Presenters?
I am, but I can't tell you the last time I logged into it.
Yeah. Well, it's awesome because especially as you sign up coaches, Dana, have you played around on there yet?
Not yet, no.
you'll really like it. And this is a place for you to like reignite your coaches, because it's exactly what we talked about. I think you saw that, where I don't know if we got to like sit there when Christine was explaining it, but yeah, you were there, obviously. It's basically a self-paced coach basics and a self-paced, like it's everything that I've ever wanted to send to a new coach when they first signed up. Like, what do I send them? Oh, I got to have them set up their site. And I got to have them create their webpage. And Amanda, you could essentially go through it. There could be things in there that I never told you to do. And that's just because I suck and don't have that system, you know? But I mean, she's got it figured out. So Platinum Presenters, there's a 14-day jumpstart, and it's self-paced. So you can go in there and do the first video 1 week and just check it off your list and make sure you set up your and it talks about social media, and it talks about all sorts of stuff. So I'm going to try to get everybody on Platinum Presenters and making sure that they've at least looked through the 14-day jumpstart, or especially it's just so perfect for new coaches. So if you're Dana, if your coaches are looking like, where do I start? Mm-hmm. I have a new coach who actually found me on Instagram. Her name is Melissa Phillips. I introduced her. She's a chef out of San Francisco.
I mean, I saw your post.
Yeah, and this is cool, guys, because when I came away from Platinum Edge, I was thinking everyone has such a better Instagram game than me, or a better Periscope game, or right, like they're all those coaches that were featured have it better, or have been working harder, or have figured out something that I haven't. But she actually just found me on Instagram and joined me because she felt like I was real. So that was really cool to not feel like, even though the coaches are doing really well, there's that's not a match for her. She looked up a lot of the high level coaches, and she didn't feel like she would have gotten the attention that she might get from somebody in our position. So I think that that's encouraging. That's attractive to a lot of people, and we need to remember that and kind of run with that. So no, that was cool. But yeah, Dana, do you want to go over some big things that you've been maybe implementing this week and that you took away from?
To be honest, I haven't implemented a ton. Like, that's why when I was trying to talk, like when I was kind of talking to you last night, it's like I just feeling overwhelmed because there is so much. But like what I've done today is kind of sat down and gone through like a bunch of things, kind of getting more clear on like what direction I want to go. And I think one of the biggest things they talked about, which helped, is, you know, we're all in an industry that's so saturated. You know, we all want to grow business in the health and fitness industry, or the mental health industry, whatever, and that's so saturated. So I think a lot of times it's easy to compare, but I think what we kind of did was we talked about thinking about like what's like important to you and what you bring and how you can portray that, and then you're going to get people that are like you. Because, you know, I just think it's so easy sometimes to be like, oh, you know, there's so many different things you can be doing. Like, in my ADD mind, that is, you know, I joke about it, but it's really frustrating. Like, I joke about having ADD and like poke fun at myself, but it's really frustrating because it's just like there's so much going on, and I think sometimes it's hard to focus in on what exactly route I want to do. So I try to do like 10 different things, and it's like, okay, if I can just figure out, you know, what I want to portray, and if I'm doing that like on social media, I mean, then that's what I'm going to start getting. And knowing that there's going to be like periscopes, or there are going to be things that I post that I'm going to look back on and be like, oh God, like, but knowing that that's everyone too, you know, and it's not necessarily, I don't know, I think sometimes it's like a blessing and a curse to have so many coaches as your friends on Facebook or social media. Like Maria, you've talked about this, because then you compare and it's not even fair to compare because they might have been doing this way longer. But I think one of the major things I really need to focus on is the business side, and just really I mean, consistency and doing those challenge groups and running those things, because it's like, yes, I'm getting a lot more likes and comments on my stuff than I used to, but they talked about that. A like doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be a conversion. That's not going to grow your business.
Right. Totally. I think that's for sure something that we all deal with. I've told Dana that I actually like unfollow coaches that I love. I love their stuff, but like the ones I almost probably love the most, I won't even look at Julie's stuff sometimes. I'm like, because everything they do, I feel like I have to do, and I'm not them. And if you guys need to unfollow me, you know, like I'm not going to take offense at stuff if it helps you hone in on you. And even if my goal is to direct you to do things that help you. And I'm sure every coach's is, but I definitely understand needing to like isolate. And every coach that I've ever heard, when they start to really rock their business, they put the blinders on, or they like, you know, like a horse, like they have these things on and they just look at their path and create, like Dana, like you said, creating your strengths and all of that. I've noticed like, I'll be like, oh, my social media is slacking and all that stuff. And I realize like, okay, I'm trying to grow Periscope right now. So Facebook might suck for a little bit compared to what it normally is, but I'm taking that risk to not keep reaching the tapped demographic that I've grown, which I've done really well with, but that's come with consistency. And you just have to like, you know, it's just like anything. It's like you don't have a high because you had such a great Facebook post, and you don't have a low if it doesn't get activity. So it's like removing yourself. But it's hard. I get like that, like, ugh, where's my likes today? You know, like that stuff happens. But that's really good. That's really, and you hear coaches who dealt with that. Like we heard a lot of stories of people who to us would be very successful, but they've had to refocus. And even seeing Maggie's posts I really appreciated her being honest and raw and real. Like she was not knowing if she came back from that, not knowing what she should be, similar to Dana, like overwhelmed and what should I be doing. And just really needing to like, because those things are awesome. And I'm sure, Amanda, you can relate, like after Summit, like it's awesome and you see that it's possible, but then you got to ask yourself, for me, is it like, do I want to do this? Is this something I want to put the work in for? And that's kind of like having a come to with yourself. So, I mean, it's really only been a week, so it's hard to digest all that and implement it. But I think you guys, the fact that you invest in those things does actually really matter. And for me, if you're posting daily, like you're posting what's on your mind, and what's like, if you're posting what's on your mind and you're being real, then you are creating a brand. You just don't maybe know it.
Yeah, and I agree. And I think like the hard thing is, like, I don't know if it was timing, because remember when I first got there, I was already kind of just self-doubting. Like I was just kind of in a weird like mindset, and then it kind of like I got a little better, but then it like carried through. And I think the difference is too, like Maria, you can relate, is I'm not used to having that much energy and people around me at all times. Like I'm like, whoo, like so used to being alone that I'm like, ew.
Yeah, we all got a little, I'm sure, Amanda, we were like together all the time. And the amazing parts about it come with the like, okay, we're all like, it's like we all just check in with each other to make sure everything's okay. But essentially no one could care less if somebody wanted to do something on their own. But we were just like, yeah, I think we all kind of understood. We're like, there's a lot of cooks in this kitchen and do what you got to do. And that's probably part of my fault, because I'm not like a bossy, I don't know. I'm not like, we're doing this and we're doing that. Sometimes that's easier to be like the person that everybody's like, ugh. But at least something is clear. But what's that?
We got shit done. We made it work.
Yeah, we did. It was awesome. You know, it looks like Caitlin's occupied, but those are the things I really wanted to touch on. I'm still going to continue with that calendar, which isn't perfect. Like I'm ebbing and flowing with stuff. But Hammer and Chisel coming out, that's a big thing. That comes out in like 9 days or something, right?
Yeah, it's real close.
For us. And then it's not released to customers until the 15th. Is that right? Anybody know? I got to look that up. But I know coaches always get like first dibs. So I'm planning on really ramping it up and educating people about it and doing something after Christmas. Letting people order.
Yeah, I was going to at least do it myself after Christmas. I mean, I'm going to try to get a challenge group running with it. Maybe even incorporate like that with like the Fix or something.
Yeah.
Or like have your choice of like Body Beast, the Fix, or Hammer and Chisel.
That way you're not like only.
Because I feel like I don't want to section myself in the beginning to like those people that are like really like yes, I want those people, but also I don't know, like what do you think? Well,
they said it's not an introductory program, so I think that's a really awesome point, Dana. I think you could easily do a weightlifting focus, like calling all cardio queens and guys who've always wanted to put on muscle, or I'm going to really run with how annoying is it or how intimidating is it to go into a weight room. I mean, I'm full of friends and people who just don't weightlift ever.
Or like the myths of like girls who are going to get bulky.
Exactly.
It's like, no. I'm going to put that meme up that's like, it's like Dwight from The Office, and it's like lifting his face looks like so dumbfounded, like weights make girls big or something, and it's like, no, cupcakes do.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, I think that's a good play, is to just hone in on all the different, I mean, I know anything I think is the way most women think is, I'm going to get bulky, or I'm going to, I don't know.
If we don't watch our nutrition. I mean, yeah, like if you're going to build muscle and not shed any fat, then yeah.
Just going to get bigger. Yeah.
You're adding more of something and not taking something away.
Right. But it looks awesome. I'm actually like, and this could be something, I don't know if you guys have talked, like Amanda and Dana and Ben, if you've talked about, but I think this is a good opportunity for us to, Dana's been really good about getting men on board, or like, I think you have a lot of guy friends.
That's only because I get creepers
asking. Creepers too. I know.
They're like, hey, do you work out? Like, seriously. I'm like, are you effing kidding? My profile picture's in the Insanity Max jacket. Like
hey, let's work out. Pickup line. It's always like, yeah, that probably sucks. But then you get genuine ones like Ben. And so from like, I don't know if you guys want to play up with it. I'm going to definitely, Dwight says he's going to do it with me. So we'll see. I'm like crossing my fingers. We got to figure it out, because there's like, I think you need a bench or like a ball. And then I might get like heavy and like, cause we've got the Bowflex weights and it's kind of tight down there, but we'll see. I got to figure all that out. But I think the whole guy girl combo, like if you guys partner up with Ben or however that goes, there could be a lot that we could do with it. And if you get guy challengers, that'll be cool.
Well, actually, I will say, since I posted like that one post a couple weeks ago about like leaving your fear behind, like I got a lot of guys, like not a lot of guys, but like people that I had like known in the past in some way. And they were guys that like reached out to me and genuinely were like, that really related to me. And so it was kind of like, you don't really realize, like you said, Maria, if you're posting and stuff, like you don't really realize like how many people it relates to. Because I think, and it was refreshing to have people say those things and then not be like, hey, you want to go to dinner?
Right.
Like,
right. Like, it should be genuine.
Like, I don't post things that I'm single so that you can be like, hey.
Right.
But just, I mean, it was just nice to have like the genuine feel, because those are the kind of people that I would want on my team anyway.
Right. Like and I had, this is similar, and like, because I don't put it out as much in terms of like having a lot of guy friends, but I did have a guy who was following along, and he's like this heavyweight wrestler, and he messaged me as like, when the time comes when I'm ready to like be a coach and help others, or because he has to be heavier for his weight, like the heavyweight wrestling that he does. But it was really cool to hear that. It was similar, where it does exist and it reinstills your belief in, you know, people that don't just want to, you know, be weird or whatever, or have you join a secret society. I don't know if I told you guys my story yet. I mean, I'll have to tell you another time, but anyway, so yeah, but those are some cool things we learned, I would say. Does that make sense, Amanda, like what we kind of touched on? I know we're rambling, but
yeah,
cool.
And I have like tons and tons of notes and stuff. I'm trying to like go through them all. Like that's why I was just kind of going through everything today, so that I feel like if I have sort of like somewhat of a little plan that way, because I've tried to just like do this by the seat of my pants, and like, yeah, my posting can work that way, but like I need to have like a set, like Maria said, like the power hour or whatever, where I sit down and do my invites and my follow-ups, because it's just, if I don't have that scheduled time for myself, I'll put it off. I mean, just like I schedule in my workout, it has to be something that I schedule and have a focus on where I want to go. Right. Like during the power hour, I'm going to do the first whatever minutes in inviting. Then I'm going to whatever. And then I'm going to go on to Platinum Presenters and do whatever video. And so I think like having a layout like that will help.
Yeah,
I
do
know
you guys feel like,
what I was trying to do.
say that again?
I said, I know you asked earlier what I was trying to do. Like when I told you I was trying to work on like organizing my thoughts.
That's awesome. I think you got, like, I wake up every morning and for the most part, it's kind of autopilot what I need to do. But now that I'm trying to write it out to potentially delegate it, I'm like, oh my God, I really gotta, like, there's a list, there's a page. And you guys all do this too. And there's like, it's five pages of things that we do in terms of like checking your bank account information, checking your email, filtering your email, responding. I mean, all the things that we do in a day is a lot. So to focus your hour into those specific things, and this is what they talk about. Amanda, I'm sure you've heard this before, but it's basically turn off Facebook Messenger, turn off your phone, have your power hour, and don't respond to anybody or don't look at the news feed until you've literally accomplished your things. And it's actually very relaxing. Like, I know when I do a challenge invite or I put out a bunch of invites or messages out there, after I do that, I'm like, I don't want to look at it. Like, I'm going to give myself 5 hours to totally decompress, because otherwise I'm going to be like overstimulated and want to like shut my computer off. So it's nice. It's like if you put work out there, then you relax and don't feel like you need to check your inbox all the time. You can like come back to it.
Yeah, I agree, especially with and I'm trying to get people off Facebook Messenger. Like, I'm trying to get people that are serious to go onto my email, only because, well, one, they talked about how important email really is, and two, Facebook Messenger gets buried. It's so easy
for both you and them. Yeah.
Yeah. It gets so buried, and so it's like either I want us to have, I mean, it depends who it is, of course, but like either phone numbers and or email.
Yeah. And that's a good step. Well, what have you been finding, Amanda? What's been going on with you this week? And
Oh man, I've just been focused on Max 30.
That's a good focus to have.
Yeah. And I've been posting and trying to be consistent with that at least. And I've
noticed that.
Yeah. I've gotten some feedback, just folks saying how inspiring it is and all that. So, but I'm not really actively reaching out to folks right now.
Right.
That's okay. I feel like sometimes you need to do something like that first or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Like, I feel like everyone has to kind of go through. I mean, what do you think, Maria?
I think the fact that I'm going through all your posts now. I feel like they haven't been showing up on my news feed. I like it. I like the positive stuff. I'm going through it right now. Get you back on my news feed.
Comparing yourself.
Yeah. I would say that they talk about that all the time. You've really gotta, that's what you've been doing. That's what you said, like committing to a program, and that's your main goal. And I think the rest, I've seen a change in Dana after she did Max 30, and in terms of just that consistency of having activity daily, like even if you're not doing a challenge group or what have you, people, like when the time comes when you're ready to get people on board and invite and do the work like that, like you've casted that net of people have been seeing your stuff and all that. So yeah, I say keep that up, and before you know it, you'll be able to invite them to whatever you feel ready to coach them through, or that next part of your journey. Like, do you feel like it's something that you want to accomplish, and then would Max 30 be something that you'd help people with, or like what are your thoughts just circling?
Well, I feel like if I survive Max 30, I'd feel fairly confident in coaching people through just about anything.
Well, yeah, you're like, whatever it is, throw it at me.
Yeah. But for sure, like I'm somebody I work out, but endurance, doing something like Insanity is never, like, I don't know how I powered through your turbo classes so many times. Like,
we're psycho when we play music, and
the
energy
is so loud in there, I can't think of anything else.
Yeah. You remove self-doubt with electronic music.
Yeah, there you go. But just, somebody who, yes, I work out, but I'm not some crazy fitness fiend. I don't run marathons or anything like that. And if I can get through Max 30 and see some results and and all that'll certainly boost my confidence. And I think having Shaun T coming in February, it's added to my motivation so much more, because I bought the VIP ticket, so I'm going to be meeting him, and I want to be able to tell him this amazing transformation story. And it's, for me too, just doing the challenge and trying to get mentally stronger. I think that's a lot of it, because my body gets tired and my mind follows too quickly, and I need to get tougher and be able to push myself more. So that'll help with being more consistent with Beachbody stuff. And I know that, we have this list of, add 5 people every day and message these people every so many people a day, and I get overwhelmed by that. So I think I need to like par it down a little bit.
Maybe like 5 a week or something instead.
Yeah. It's like I'm very all or nothing in my thinking, which is so not helpful. And I'm a perfectionist, so if I can't do it just amazingly, I'm just not going to do it at all. So I
got you.
That doesn't help. So.
Well, I think you've got to feel like you can handle it. And I think we've talked about this before. Like, sometimes I don't message 5 people a day or add 5 people a day because I'm taking on that responsibility of needing to follow up with them or what have you. And like, sometimes I can't even get to I have a lot of these coaches that I can't FaceTime with like I'd like to. And so you just have to assess, kind of like what Melissa said, is like, you seemed real, like you seemed like you'd give me the attention. I've talked to Kayla about this, is you want to be able to confidently say you're giving attention to what's important, and that those are your relationships. And so if it's 5 people a day because you feel like you can handle it and it's something that you're best equipped to handle, you don't graduate from those 5 people a week until you're ready to. And like 5 people a day is fine for me because I just feel good about numbers. I just know how it goes. Like generally coaches who are going to want to work on their business will message me or come on the calls or email me and be responsive and schedule those things. And I've learned if I'm not, I don't know, there's not a lot I can do. Hopefully if I haven't been doing it, things like the Platinum Presenters Jumpstart will help people have quicker results so that they're not giving up on themselves. But even then, even like the one thing I tell them to do, which isn't anything close to a jumpstart, they feel like that's too much. So then again, just I feel like if you're doing what you're comfortable with, but you're pushing yourself, it's like a workout, like you're pushing yourself maybe 1 more second further than that 30-second sprint. And then the next time it's 2 more seconds and 3 more seconds, you're going to get more fit and more strong. So what you're doing is great. I feel like it would be preaching to the choir just to see you on these phone calls and see you on the events, see you doing Max 30. Like, you might have been really hard on yourself 6 months ago, but the fact that you're here doing Max 30 could be related to everything leading up to that, like helping develop your mind. And it's cool to see everyone have a journey and get stronger. So I'm trying to think of what else. I mean, with a holiday and it being Christmas, it's something that I'm like, oh man, I don't know. How do you guys feel about it? Like, I know that it's like, this is the time to be planting all the seeds, and it's important because everyone's going to be eating a ton of food, and including myself, I'm sure. But are you guys going to play up the holiday? What are you guys kind of forecasting for Thanksgiving and Christmas? And we could just brainstorm if you want.
I'm definitely going to start promoting Hammer and Chisel in like the coming weeks. Maybe do like a free challenge group somewhere like along the lines of how to stay on track or toward your goals, or how not to like fall completely off the wagon on the holidays, kind of thing.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Because I think that's a time where people just go, let themselves go. And I understand, because it's like that mentality of all or nothing. Like, this is the one time I get to have this, and so I'm going to binge, and then whatever. And then it's never the one last time that you have chocolate. So it's like, okay, let's quit telling ourselves that. I mean, I do it. Like, I know, that's why I can say it.
Right. So true. Me too.
And I think like the biggest thing that people have to realize too is like, so let's say you have these goals. Like, one of the most like eye-opening things in college was there's this stat that like, let's say you gained 5 pounds over every holiday. Like, the amount of, I can't remember what it was. I have to look it up, but it's like it will only take the number, however many of years, if you never lost that 5 pounds again. So basically, you have to like restart every year. But then also, if you don't lose those 5 pounds, like how quickly that increases your BMI and you turn into obese, which is like, what? What if I'm only gaining those 5 pounds over the holidays? But if you never lose those 5 pounds, you know what I mean? And it's and that's where it's hard because like I never want to portray it as like the outward appearance, but it's like more the health thing.
Yeah.
If you completely lose track, then I think it demotivates you in general. So I mean, it's a vicious cycle.
There's a lot of people that it's hard for us to imagine. People are like, I don't know what happened, and they like go to the doctor and they're shocked at how much weight they've gained, and they're shocked at their heart result, and I've been there. I think my senior year in college, I knew it was happening, but I didn't step on the scale and I didn't really look at myself. And until I was sick all the time, all of the signs were there. And then I finally went to the doctor for them to tell me that I had mono, that I'd been fighting for. And who gains weight on mono? I gained weight on mono, which is, but
I had an appetite. So when I had mono, I was like, what the fuck is this?
Right. Did not get the skinny mono, that's for sure. Because I can eat when I'm sick. I'm like, it doesn't matter. I'll eat.
No.
So, yeah. But, yeah, I think that's where I think that's a good reality check because people might not realize. And there's a lot of people like that. And we just don't. I think because, again, we surround ourselves with coaches who can be neurotic and know themselves all too well. It's hard to realize that there's a lot of people like, I don't know the last. I mean, there's literally a girl who I was trying to help, and it's kind of hard, but she does it. She's really picky, and all she wants to do is eat carbs, and she has nowhere to start, no idea where to start on what to eat. And everything I mentioned, she's like, I don't like that. And it's just sometimes I don't even know what to do. I'm just like, okay.
I feel like people have to realize sometimes, which it is hard, like, hell yeah, would I rather have ice cream for dinner sometimes? Yeah, almost every day I would rather. But
right.
It's like if you train your taste bud, you have to train your taste bud.
Right. Yeah.
People are eating really unhealthy. I think that people that have the hardest time adjusting to Shakeology because they're like, this is disgusting. But then the people that eat relatively healthy and get on it really like it immediately.
Yes. That's like a litmus test. It's like, ugh, it's so nasty. It's like, well, hey, we know what you've been eating. But yeah.
Been there, but it's like you have to train your mind. Like I never used to think I could eat I know it sounds crazy since I've been in fitness and everything, but I never ever thought I would ever eat raw vegetables without something to dip it in. And now I do.
Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah.
I could always eat cooked vegetables. But raw vegetables, I was like, oh God.
Where's the ranch?
Yeah.
Where's the ranch? Where's the hummus?
How quickly that adds up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Otherwise it's free, and then it goes from free to minus 200 or something. Yeah. Cool. Well, anything else? I figured we can kind of keep it short for the recording, and just wanted to go over some takeaways without overwhelming people. National Wake Up Call, Hammer and Chisel stuff coming out. I'll be doing a sneak peek here soon. So I'll re-announce the calendar here in the team page.
Put some people in there.
Yeah. So whoever puts anybody in there I'm sure I'll reach out to do a video or what have you. But yeah, it'll be good.
Cool.
And if you guys aren't on Periscope yet, and I'm talking to the recording here and Amanda, but if you're not on Periscope yet, definitely get on it, and we can, help each other out. Because some people will watch, people literally come and watch my Periscope, so they won't give me any hearts. And so they say that's slimy to be give me hearts. But I don't think people, it's so new that people don't even know what to do. I have people who literally are challengers just watching it, and they'll comment, but they won't tap and give hearts. So we can all train each other and help each other out with that.
Is Periscope just an app, or is there an online version?
You can look it up online. I don't know.
It's just an app.
Yeah, it's mostly an app. You can access, if you said Maria Romaine Periscope, you could find my most recent Periscope on like there's actually a site that you can watch them.
Okay.
Kind of like Instagram, where Instagram's way better in the app than it is if you
Yeah.
actually go online.
I don't think you can even post a picture online on Instagram, can you?
I don't think you can post it. You can just go on and view.
Never
Yeah,
tried.
I think
Yeah.
you can like comment and stuff maybe still, but you can't. Yeah, like you can't post a picture.
Right. They want you to do it all from your phone, which is easier anyway. But yeah, my goal is to post something daily, and that's my version of somebody's Facebook or somebody's Instagram or whatever. Like that's just for me, because like I was telling Dana this, I never did YouTube. I used to do videos. I used to do like FAQ Fridays, but I just was like, oh, the editing, and I just wouldn't do it because it had to be perfect. And in this, you're forced to literally, like I put Periscope on with my mom and we danced on Periscope, and like that's just us. That's real life, and I think that's going to pay off in the future, that kind of stuff. So cool. Anything else you guys wanted to ask or cover? Any like specific situations?
What do you guys do? This is so fundamental. I should totally know it by now, but I seem to be able to get people to try Shakeology, but I can't get them to stay on Shakeology. Like I had one girl, she bought the 21-day fix challenge pack, and this was back in the summer, and I think she got Shakeology for like 3 or 4 months. It was leading up to her wedding. She wanted to lose like 7 pounds or something. So I was like, yeah, the fix would be perfect for you. Shakeology, all that. And she discontinued it.
Happens all the time, honestly, sadly, but it does, like all the time. Otherwise,
Like,
we'd be a billionaire.
Yeah. How often do you, like, if I don't know how to reach out to my customers, I guess, how often I should check in with them? I don't want to be like that naggy server by your table
Right.
every 5 minutes.
Maybe from the get-go, that would be if you have like 5 questions you ask them, be like, what motivates you? And then what coaching style would you prefer? Would you want me to, and how often would you want me to check in on you? Just like some real basic questions. It's not like badgering them from the start, but just to better understand them. And I'm sure there's some surveys out there that I'm sure a lot of the coaches use, but I go based on like a normal conversation of like, would you prefer a challenge group? Would you prefer messages? How often would you like for me to check in on you? And then ideally, I'm hoping that they're the kind of person that's like, well, reaches out to me, but there are people who really do want you to like stay on top of them. So I would have them say that to you first. Okay. And then when it comes to the Shakeology stuff, I look at it like we just got to constantly educate them, because they're sold on like, it's like anybody, and coaches do this all the time. They're thinking that they're going to do it for their wedding, or they like invest in their health on the days that they want to invest in their health. It's not a lifestyle. If they like eat Oreos that day, they're not like, well, and I've had like 5 days, honestly, like in the past 6 years, like 5 days where I didn't have Shakeology. And those are the days I want to be like eating crappy. And if people are doing that more than 5 days in 6 years, then they're going to, accumulate Shakeology and have it be extra and have it compound. So I try to educate people on what it is and how it helps them prevent that type of behavior. And maybe find a day, it's crucial to have them find a time in the day to where it's like a workout. Like if you keep saving your workout for the end of the day and there's all these things that get in the way of it, then it's not going to happen. Yeah. So like I've literally seen my coworkers eat crappy. So they have no desire to eat Shakeology if they started their day off crappy. Yeah. But if they start the day off with Shakeology, then they've already gotten it done. So I think there's something to be said for having them start their day with it every day. And then maybe like babysit them for, like I've seen Christy, she kind of babysits, like somebody would post their picture of Shakeology, like just send it to her, just text it to her. And it seems like they're staying on. So
okay.
I don't know if those are if that's manageable for you, you might want to suggest, hey, what do you prefer? And then if they like that accountability and they want that like extra push, then maybe you could set up like, well, you could take a picture of Shakeology and send it to me every day along with your workout to stay accountable. Like whatever is not too much if they're in the challenge group or. Yeah. But there's this one Shakeology blog post that talks about, I think I put it in the No Excuses November, and it educates about why Shakeology is what it is. And
oh yeah, that was a great article.
Yeah. So I try to get the video. It's almost like, how many times can I get them I mean, I've heard things about 1Password and Periscope, like by the 10th time I heard it, then I was like, okay, I seriously believe in it. So I don't know. Dana, do you have any advice on helping people stay on it?
I mean, I think that's the same thing, and it kind of depends. Like, if you're going to get those people who are going to be the dieters instead of lifestyle people, like, that's something that you can't really help. Like, you can educate, and that's all you can do. But, like, not to necessarily take it personally, because, like, I've been there, and I'm like, oh, you stopped, like, what the heck? But, heck, last winter when I was not my good self, like, I was in a not as good a place in every aspect, including my health. I didn't drink Shakeology. I was like, I went, what the hell is it when you go inactive on your Shakeology or whatever? I don't know.
Inactive.
Whatever. I went inactive on it because I wasn't drinking it, and then I started drinking it again, and that's when I noticed the difference. And I do notice the difference when I haven't been drinking it, or like just been inconsistent, like, oh, maybe like Monday morning I have it and then Tuesday I don't, or like whatever it is. Like, I do realize my cravings for junk food are much higher. And it's not like I would ever promote Shakeology as a miracle pill, miracle shake, whatever, because I don't think there's a miracle anything. But I think a lot of times, from what I've known, what I've learned from the nutrition background, is you crave the bad stuff because your body is actually craving, like, so like when you crave chocolate, you need more magnesium a lot of times, or like, that's just an example.
Yeah.
And I think, just kind of telling your experience with it, you can share mine. Like, I know it's hard sometimes to not be like, oh, she's just saying this because it's a sales pitch. But I think if you're going to get the right people on, they're going to believe, and it might take them their own time. But I think I've learned to just kind of educate and be patient. And like, know that they might give you every reason to go off of it, and they're all valid reasons to them. But to us, it's like, what? Maybe they'll go off of it and they'll realize, holy shit, I felt a lot better. Or they might look back in a couple months and be like, why am I here right now? And knowing that you checked in on them and you were the one that didn't push them away or didn't like judge them for stopping it, they'll come back to you maybe.
Yeah, I would definitely combine all that and then just check in on them often. I've talked about that a million times, where it's like, yeah, you do kind of have to.
Because I think that's the easy, like, Amanda, I think too, it's so easy, which I know this sounds terrible, but it's just life and it's real. But we sign someone up as a customer, and let's say we don't have a challenge group running or something, or even if we did have a challenge group, it's so easy to just let them fall off. And then they're kind of like, no one's checking in on me. Like, they might lose their accountability. Like, everyone's different in their way of accountability, but I think it's just so easy once they're that customer and that challenge pack to be like, to just, you just forget. Like, you do.
Right. It's like why Coca-Cola constantly advertises. It's like my token example, but that just made me think of something like, if you can get them liking the Shakeology page, if you can get them liking it on Instagram, like, just think of, this is just coming to me, but like all the things if they surround themselves with those things, if they're like social media people, especially, that would be powerful. So that could be something without you even having to educate them, like just have them like the pages and let that even do its magic.
Or even like Darren Aline has a page, and he doesn't sit there and talk about Shakeology the whole time, but he, like, you can clearly tell he's into whole natural foods. And so then maybe people be like, oh, well, clearly he wouldn't design a shake that wasn't full of all these great,
Yeah.
I think maybe that's a really good idea, Maria.
I like the anecdote that Carl Deichler gave about his wife not wanting to give their dog this flea treatment. Super Saturday over the summer, I think it was. Because she knew it was poison, and she didn't even want to poison the dog. So, that's true integrity right there.
Right.
For the products. And
I would never look at the medicine in Tucker's I like would not look at the medicine or the ingredients in Tiger Sleep Medicine, which is probably terrible, but
Aw.
but you know what I mean? Like most people don't. Like most people don't go and read through the ingredients of everything they're giving for dog or everything and every, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Extreme, but I think it's also testimony to someone that's designing this product that won't even give an animal that's terribly infested with fleas flea medicine.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, she is hardcore, and the more you like watch her videos or even see her in person, they bring her out for a reason. She's just like a drill sergeant about health and nutrition. It's really cool.
Yeah. I seeing her and Carl together as a couple just doesn't even make sense in
I
my
know.
head.
I've never seen her with him.
Oh yeah, you would never. She's so like hippie, like organic health doctor, and then he's like this not average, but like American Carl, like
Carl.
Mr. CEO.
Yeah, business.
Yeah.
It's cool. They're cute.
Yeah.
You have to watch videos of them together, and it really is really neat. Sorry, guys. Woo! All right. I know, I just made you yawn. Okay.
Stop it.
I know. Well, thanks for being on the call. I'll upload this in the team page, and thanks for sharing your takeaways, Dana and Amanda, just being here so we can have someone to talk to and share information. Keep up Max 30, and I'll talk to you guys this week.
All right.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.